the top pick in the draft. It's now belongs to the Patriots, who don't need a quarterback. They got Drake May. He's a good player. Should the 49ers trade up for the number 1 pick in the draft?
Dude, I'm telling you, man. I doubt it will happen, but I will have dreams of us trading up for someone. Like, you can go Cam Ward. I personally think Shedeur Sanders is, I think, who would fit the team best. I think he plays in a quick hitter offense that Kyle likes. I think he's smart. I don't think he likes running around too much, but he can. He's also confident enough with attitude that I don't think he'd get bullied by Kyle, which I think is good. I like it. I think Shedeur Sanders would be great. Or trade up for a Travis Hunter. Get rid of Debo.
No, it's got to be a quarterback. I'm actually not against it because I feel like Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders are like, they could be good right away. They've played a lot of college football. They have the reps that Trey Lance and Zach Wilson and Mac Jones and didn't have. Justin, all those guys coming out off the pandemic didn't have enough reps. These days, quarterbacks play a lot in college. I'd be interested.
My thing with Cam Ward is he kind of reminds me of like a Trey Lance where he's super quiet. I think Kyle needs a Shedeur or a Spencer Rattler or a Zach Wilson, someone with confidence already instilled in them that Kyle can't break down. Where it's like he can say, yell, whatever he wants, and it's like, no, I know what I'm going to do, bro. Like, I'm good.
Right. And I think that's how, like, Mike Shanahan had success, but he was a similar style coach, and he won with Steve Young and John Elway. Like, you couldn't break them down. They were two of the best players of all time. So they almost like wanted that type of criticism because they're so good. But yeah, I mean, those guys are one of one. Here's the thing. I don't like the idea of trading 3 first-round picks in the future for a guy in the draft.
Do you think we'd have to?
Yes.
I don't.
For the top pick?
You think so? If we offered them like a Bosa or a Debo?
Well, see, that's what I'm thinking. I feel like there's other assets you could trade other than future first-round picks, which the Niners need to make this happen.
And again, I think Bosa is incredible. I am not on the get rid of Bosa for nothing train, but I think if you can get rid of him for a Shedeur Sanders, like an elite quarterback, I think do it. I think put all the marbles in Kyle. You're an offensive guy. Nick Sorensen isn't the greatest defensive coordinator anyways.
Yeah, like Dan Campbell lost Aiden Hutchinson and kept chugging along. Like, you don't need Nick Bosa. You're good.
Let's put the ball in your court. Let's make sure you don't have any excuses. We are giving everything to offense. Let's trade up for Shedeur. Let's draft the rest of offensive line, sign some offensive line. You have everything you could want. Quarterback, weapons, running backs.
And then fire Nick Sorensen. Get rid of this vanilla. No, I'm sorry. Get rid of this vanilla defensive scheme, which is all about rushing for, playing zone, taking away explosive. Like, nah. Win with your offense and then get a defense like Minnesota, Kansas City that brings pressure, plays man-to-man coverage, and may give up an explosive here and there, but is also taking the ball away and is much more aggressive. Do that.
I miss Saleh for that reason, man. He was so aggressive, and we were so
By the end,
good.
he was. By the end, he was. Because you know what? In 2020, you know what he didn't have that year? Nick Bosa. And you know what his defense ranked? 5th in yards allowed. Yep.
So, in my opinion, man, I think Nick is phenomenal. And yes, you're making another team better. But at this point, we've tried and true let's have a great running back. Kyle can work with whatever. He can't, obviously. 4 out of 8 seasons he's been here have been losing. The other 4, yes, they've been great. But let's trade up, do it again, run it back, but this time get an established quarterback with established confidence, with established play time, with an established play style that isn't a developmental project, that knows what they bring
and
to a
keep
team.
Brock. Be like, no, Brock, we'll keep you, man. You can compete with Shedeur Sanders. And if you're better than him, then you'll start. And if you tear it up, we'll give you an extension. But we are not going to skimp at the most important position. And we're not going to be afraid because we missed on Trey Lance. That was a ridiculous pick. He had 300-something throws in college. Shedeur Sanders has probably more than that this season, plus last season, plus his time at Jackson State?
Jackson State, yep.
Yeah. So he has the reps. He has like a completion percentage is over 70. He's accurate. He's mobile. He's one of the two. I happen to prefer Cam Ward. I haven't watched a ton of either one, but it's like one of the two, man. Why not?
The only negative about Shedeur is he takes a lot of sacks, but you could chalk that up to his offensive line being absolute garbage and him having a non-existent run game, which the Niners can give him a run game. The Niners can give him an offensive line.
Yeah.
So
there's no rule against it.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, and yeah, even if you go Cam, I don't care who it is. Just make a move. I don't want to go into another season with Brock Purdy and Brandon Allen. That's
Nope.
ridiculous. I think that the first pick's up for grabs. We're at what 11th, and we're gonna
Yeah,
get
and it could be
smoked tonight.
it could be higher, right? They're going to lose tonight most likely, and then they could always lose to the Cardinals if they try hard enough.
It's not a ridiculous jump.
No.
So
I mean, the Rams traded up for Goff. It didn't ruin their franchise. They went to a Super Bowl with him. The Eagles traded up for Carson Wentz. Didn't ruin their franchise. They went to a Super Bowl with him on the team. I mean, if the quarterback is legit, then do it.
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah.
What do we have to lose? We just went.
The alternative is hope and pray that Zach Wilson bails you out, which he may or not. I like this better.
Oh, and the hope is that they actually take a chance on Zach Wilson. My guess is they'll take a chance on Jimmy and just bring Jimmy back.
What about the dude from Georgia, Carson Beck?
He just tore his UCL. I'm pretty sure.
Really?
He's not playing in the entire CFB because he hurt his UCL.
That sucks.
So I would not. I mean, he'd be a UDFA, so I guess, but that would be another Kyle. That would be such a typical Kyle pick. Is he falls in the 7th round? He
messed up his elbow, but we had success with guys with messed up elbows. I'm not really against them doing that, trading up for a quarterback. I think you got to take the position seriously and don't say like, well, no, our guy's good enough. You don't know that he's good enough, and good enough isn't good enough, frankly. Unless you have an elite guy, you're looking for an elite guy. And we can all agree that Brock has had excellent stretches, but I think we all can agree that he's not elite.
He's not elite. You could see it against great teams. And that's where you really see whether quarterbacks are elite or not. What do they do against elite teams? Brock had really bad stretches in the playoffs. He had amazing fourth quarters in those playoffs that got him where he was. But if he played like he did for 3, we'd have been beaten by the Packers. He lost to the Packers if he didn't have a miraculous fourth quarter and Jordan Love didn't crumble at the end. So, dude, every quarter you can't win in this league with a good quarterback anymore. This isn't the Trent Dilfer era. You can't do it. You have to have great or elite to win in the NFL these days at the quarterback position.
I'm trying to get Brock's split stats against the AFC in his career. Now I can
it'd
be nice to get it with the Super Bowl as well, but AFC. Hold on,
it's just
for his whole career. Just a second. Here we go. Whole career, and this is just regular season. So NFC, he's 20-6 with a quarterback rating of 116.9, just destroying the little brother conference. When he plays the AFC, which the last couple of years has been the more dominant conference, 6-7, completion percentage of 61 against the NFC. It's 70, 14 touchdown passes, 15 picks. Again, and against the NFC, 47 touchdown passes and 10 picks, almost 5-1 ratio. 14-15 against the AFC with a quarterback rating of 82.5. That's not. How do you win a Super Bowl with a guy who can't beat Kansas City, Baltimore, Buffalo, Cleveland, Cincinnati? Like, that's a problem.
And that's my biggest. Why wouldn't you? What do you have to lose trading up for a top pick? What? You're not going to win another Super Bowl?
Bosa. I mean, Nick Bosa's good, but it's like he's not worth the money you're giving him. And you just saw the Lions have a comp. You don't even need a great defense anymore, man. Go all in with your offense, Kyle. You're a genius.
Yeah, and that's my biggest thing is Nick Bosa. I personally think he's elite. I think he's one of the best edge rushers in the league. But at the end of the day, when you have a hole as big as the 49ers do and have had for years at quarterback, Nick Bosa at that point doesn't move the needle for you. He can't. What if he gets the ball back? What's Brock going to do? Throw a pick? Like,
yeah. So you trade the Niners first round pick and Nick Bosa for the number 1 pick in the draft. Here's another thing the Niners could trade. Kyle.
To the Patriots? What if they don't want
him? Hey, man, you want to be the next Bill Belichick? There you go. You can go from Bill Walsh's team to Bill Belichick's team. Kyle and the Niners number 1 for the first pick in the draft.
I would do it. I would do that as long as we get Ben Johnson.
Hey, well, if you get the number 1 pick in the draft, you might have an offensive coach like Ben Johnson.
I'd say, listen,
Here's
what do you
what the
want,
Niners
man?
have going for them. They play in the weakest division in the NFC, or one of them. So
Yeah.
you could go coach Caleb Williams, who's kind of strange and a bit of a diva and may not be coachable, and be last place in the NFC North every year. Or you could come over here, coach Cam Ward, Shadur Sanders, and win the NFC West right away and every year.
That's my big. I've also been seeing this kind of like Niners should trade for Joe Burrow steam picking up, but what, like, in my
How?
opinion, how?
Trade
Why
Kyle.
would
Trade Kyle and Bosa for Joe Burrow. But I don't think
even
Kyle would want to go to Cincinnati without Burrow. That's the thing. Unless he would prefer, maybe he thinks Jake Browning's better than Burrow. He might. He might.
Dude, that's my thing is Burrow's like his perfect quarterback, but he'd never be able to find it. And he would never take the risk for him.
And Burrow would hate him.
Yeah, for sure. Because he wouldn't let him just be him.
No. Ruiz SB Champ says, sincerely, division champs Rams pay Purdy $60 million.
Dude.
Thank you for that. V says teams like the Niners should lose the title of storied franchise if they haven't won a championship in like 20 years.
I disagree.
But that's why you're storied, because they used to be great. That's the story.
Yeah.
Right.
Also, I mean, a lot of teams would pay their left kidney for the Niners' success they've had over the past 5 years. So, like, I can't go that far, but because
it's true.
Anyone would give up anything to be us.
Some teams.